but also I wanted to figure out if we wanted to, like, how we want to handle sound effects, because that topic came up during the playtest.
Give me 1 second here. I'm just finishing up doing something.
Assume a lot of erasing and sketching stuff.
Stuff like that, yeah. The biggest question is like, hey, do we want to like hire someone to, or work with someone, contract someone to do that? Do we want to
I feel like
try to do it ourselves? Is
this-
someone interested in doing it themselves?
like the sound effects requirements for this project are probably minimal enough to be done in-house.
I was gonna say the same thing. I think
Sure.
so.
Yeah.
Like
I think there could be like a good soundtrack for your background music, like kind of Jackbox style, could go a long way. But you're
I would be
probably
down to
right.
buy
No one's...
something like that. I would be down to buy a few tracks, but I don't think we need. Like I think, hold on. I wrote down my thoughts about this somewhere. But basically, like, yeah, like it would be a few. I don't know how many tracks we think we want in this game. I think we can get away with like less than 10. So I think we could, if we wanted to
Easy,
contract
but-
someone for just a few songs for a few $100, I think that would be, I would be totally down for that. But like the type of sound effects that normally you would hire a sound designer for, like Foley work and like, using Fmod and that sort of thing, like for directional sound, I don't think really applies to this game. So I think we could get away with doing it on our own personally. What else? I had one other note about this. I can't find it. Oh, I can also ask Alex Cole from Philly and see if he thinks it's worth it or has any insight onto it. But last time I talked to him, he was out of work as hell and was basically begging for anyone to find him work. So like,
the guy that
not begging,
gave
but
me,
you met him once,
or
I think.
I talked to, yeah. He does like jazz, jazzy music or like soul music or something like that.
I don't know. He's the guy who worked on some Marvel games, I think.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Or DC, sorry, not Marvel. But he's really nice. He's really knowledgeable. He worked on the dinosaur game a little bit with me. Really, he just showed me how to use Fmod, but he's still credited as a sound designer for that reason. In Game Maker, but he yeah, I could ask him and see if he thinks it's worth it. But like, yeah, and honestly, the type of Foley work that this was what I was thinking. I think Dave started to get to this, which made me think about it. Is like the type of Foley work we would need to be capturing if we did want to do any of that is like stuff we could do, like scratch a paper or crumple up a piece of paper or draw with a pencil, erasing. Like I think we, that wouldn't be too. Everybody has that kind of stuff in their house.
Well, I think it comes down to, it's not just like the Foley work, but about like the quality of the sound. I think people that really care about that thing, that stuff, and the people that are probably the ones that say like, no, you should hire someone to do this. Don't try to do this on your own.
I think that's mostly advice for
I
a
think
game
this is
with
a
a
buy a
world.
thing situation rather than hire a dude situation.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably fine. That's probably fair. But it's about like, yeah, not having like the background noise, hissing stuff. But yeah, you're probably right. Buy a thing. And then, but there's still like, who wants to be in charge of that? Who wants to run that? Is part of the question here. Who wants that as their job? sound effects guy. Does anyone want to take the lead on that?
I can try to do it, but also, you know, like with the way I normally do sound, I think I've gotten a lot of compliments on sound in my Game Jam games, but that's when I'm doing the mechanics and the literal clicking, every little detail myself, and
I don't need you to program it. I just need you to show me where it goes.
I'm saying that I may struggle with that because I'm not programming it but I'll try.
Because you don't have the freedom to play around with it. Yeah.
Yeah, because like sometimes I'll be like, this
sense,
sound actually would sound better if there was a slight delay here and yada 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 and that sort of thing.
I wonder if we could do.
But this really is a game that doesn't have a lot of like delays or anything like this. It's just like you click, you get a sound, pretty much, right?
Here's I think the way we do this. You branch, and you do whatever you want to make it work on that branch, and I'll go look at it and try to copy, and then just copy it. That you just show me, like if you could just branch, make it work however you need to make it work, and then I'll go over there, look at it. I'll need some way to for you to just point me in the directions of which sounds are which, somehow. But I don't know, just even if it's just a Google Doc that says, here are the sounds in this scene, here are the sounds in this scene, or something like that.
Sure.
And then I'll go and implement them, and then once they're implemented and we're good, then we'll just destroy the branch and then do it again.
I do also have like 3 or 4 sound libraries that I've gotten as part of HIO packs that I've never ever opened, so I could dig into those and see if I could find some interesting sounding stuff. I do think there were a couple tracks that I put them in the old Discord, but there were a couple tracks I was interested in licensing from someone that I talked to the guy. He said it would be $100, $100 per track, or if we want him to write original music, like $100 per 2 minutes of new material or something like that. I can't remember what exactly he said, but there's a track I have specifically in mind for the drawing phase because I think it lines up nicely. I remember picking out one that I was like, this is right at 3 minutes. And that seems to be where we're at right now. I'm not sure if we want to, it would kind of be nice to dynamically do all that and to just in an ideal world where we have all the time in the world. What I would have loved to have done in the beginning is just have a bunch of jazz recordings that come in and out and a bunch of riffs, kind of like how Ape Out did theirs, because we want to be able to adjust the time on the rounds, but that's a lot of work. A real lot of work.
Yeah, that is a lot of work, but it would be, I mean, maybe that's hey, we are getting traction thing, and that's something we can dedicate time to.
I would love to do that ourselves. Not that we're jazz musicians, but we could fiddle around enough, I think.
I think if we ever got to the point where we could do this full time, I think someone on the team could definitely fall into that role and do it well. I think the problem is just the time it takes to learn the tools required to do it well is significant. It's not, and so, I think everyone on this team has the musical ear for it and the capability and know-how for what to do. It's just learning those tools.
Yeah, I mean, but there is the option that we all just take recording time doesn't cost that much in the studio, and that's someone else who knows the tools. We could go find someone else who knows the tools and just be like, hey, we want to come in for 3 or 4 hours and we want to each individually jam, and we'll switch, we'll bring these instruments, we'll switch around, and we'll jam and come up with a few tunes, and maybe we pre-do, we invent some stuff to go in with, and then we just we asked them to record each thing. We were going to want the master of each track individually because we're going to break this up and use it programmatically. And we come up with 4 or 5 different riffs, and we just jam on those riffs together. And then we get all the individual tracks for all that stuff.
Magical helpers were corrupted by their own chaotic libraries.
Yeah, we could play around with that for sure. For now, I think I do think that would be fun. I'm worried that I don't have the timing that would be required to do something like that.
Yeah, that's fair.
but you guys have more musical practice than I do, so I'd be down to play around with it. But for now, at very least, I think the idea of someone just going out, buying something, like licensing something that exists or using something that is open source free, is a good solution. And if Chris, you're down to do that, then I think that solves that problem.
Yeah, I could try to do that stuff.
This whole time I've been testing the submit button, and it seems to be working just fine. The timer does sync too. It's just it doesn't sync at start. So like, because your old timer is still running on those old things, they don't stop. Which I could probably make them just stop when they come through. The timer doesn't start until it does a sync, which I only do every 5 seconds. It's supposed to theoretically, like, the goal was to like try to cut down on networking, but maybe it's just fine to sync every second and not care about it. Not care about networking costs.
Thinking a timer probably, yeah. Like if we get big enough that servers are, we'd have to go up to another tier of server, then I'd worry about that. But I would say you could probably sync every moment, once a second at least. Like if like
it's
not
more that
every frame.
it scales linear. The traffic pricing scales linearly, so it's all about like once we get over the free threshold, it's like we basically have to be making millions or having enough money to be making millions to get to the next tier below. And I do think Unity does actually literally scale linearly. It does not. You don't get any more drop-offs. But I could be wrong about that. But either way, it should be manageable for us. I can't imagine that we'll reach a level of success where we'll have that problem. And if we do have that problem, honestly, if we reach that level of success, we could probably just fucking hire someone that knows what they're doing to fix it for us.
Oh, Dave, I love this. If you're doing this.
Oh yeah, I saw. I started watching it, and then I didn't actually watch it. Hold on.
Characters.
Also, you were not here for the turntable tool. We might actually, if we're willing to use that. So like Jeff can explain why it struggles a little bit with your art, because like you have a lot of like hatch lines and things like that. But if you can create like it's this AI tool basically that like if you wanted to have each of these poses in front and back, you could like AI recognizes what you're drawing and like you can rotate it, and it works pretty well some of the time. It struggles with some of your artwork because of the hatching and stuff, but Jeff was saying you add a few lines here or
Glad the
there.
robots struggle with my art.
Robots get my art immediately.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Robots.
It's all about it. Well, it's because your art it has to be done in Illustrator, which is vectorized art, and your art isn't vectorized. So like when there aren't like when Jeff tries to vectorize it, it makes all those hash marks like a ton of little segments that vectorized art wouldn't have, so it gets confused.
That being said,
it's just not built for
yeah
Photoshop art.
I don't know if you need it, if you're like if you need a front and back for all these poses, but if you could get these in, we can remove.
I think it needs
all
one
my
back.
extra
Everyone
pose.
just needs one back.
Yeah,
and
I
everyone
agree.
gets-
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
I
and
think
then everything
actually
else is
like
just gonna be a pose, like just a standard flat ass back, default back.
we don't need every angle of a person. We just need
Interesting.
more
poses.
distinct, interesting poses. I like that, like what Dave is doing here. I still think that honestly, there's probably instead of the eraser, some sort of tool where you can pull on the mesh and just squish and wobble and do a bunch of weird shit to the mesh. But that is again in the future. We just have to focus on what we have now. I think making the game loop good, because we have enough to do that right now. And then we'll add that tool in later. That'll be like a post-release tool or.
I did put my guys in. They're in the raw ass sprites folder. Not sure if we're still using that.
Yeah, I don't use the raw sprites folder anymore because it makes the get bigger. Hard. It takes longer to pull and push shit.
Also, there are two
but
raw
it's-
sprite folders.
Yeah, so what I normally do is if you just drop them in Discord, I grab them from there, which it looks like you have. But yeah, I'll make those up.
I mean, I already did the I didn't do the collision on them yet, but I did do the turning them into
Ah.
sprites in.
Okay,
So
yeah. The collision is the hardest part. It's the one that fucking takes forever. But if you want to do the collision, feel free. That would be.
I can do the collision while
wonderful.
we're sitting here.
We're committed to just putting faces on all the poses, right? Just to make them cool looking. We're
Yeah, I
kind of
think you just
abandoning
put
the
faces on.
noses
Yeah,
and eyes and shit.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what I'm doing. I'm going with, yeah.
But should I move them to a different folder other than raw ass sprites before I do this? Before I do the collision?
Can you guys hear me?
I hear you.
Here you now.
My headphones just cut out there. Yeah, I agree. Just put faces on the poses. It looks better.
Should I move these guys to another folder other than raw ass sprites before I start doing the hitboxes?
So if you can try to replicate the system I set up. So if you go to resources, data, no, that's not right. Where is it? It's in addressable asset data. Is that right? Hold on. No, not that. WebGL, not that.
So that we're not keeping
Okay,
the PNGs in the sprite PNGs folder or the assets
no,
folder?
so everything's in the addressable content now, because the addressable content is content that doesn't get built. It doesn't go into the build. So if you go to assets, addressable content, sticker textures.
It was Tuesday.
No worries. So sticker textures, then you'll see I set them up in folders, and there's character folders, and I make character folders for each character just to organize them, so it's easier.
Addressable assets data.
Addressable content. Assets, addressable content.
Sticker data. Sticker textures.
Yep. Characters. And then make a new folder and put them in there.
They're already in folders, so I should just be able to paste them in here. Alright.
And then when you go to make the sets, just go up the tree until you get to sticker sets instead of sticker textures, and I try to make the sets match the name of the folder.
But if you know, if I have artist, activist, bro, and shy lady in their own folder under characters, and I do the hitboxes in there, that's good.
Yeah. The hitboxes are just attached to the sprite data. So as long the hitboxes stay with the sprite.
Let me see if I could remember how to do this custom physics shape.
Yeah, it's sprite editor and custom physics shape, yeah. And then the less points the better. That's another place where we might be able to help for, like, when Bridget was having those issues. Like, I'm looking at the cow right now, and the cow's tail has a bunch of really small triangles. We don't need the tail to be selectable. It's just a little line. No one's going to try to select the cow by the tail, so we could probably just get rid of the selectors around there. Those points, stuff like that. Instead of making everything, like, super tight, just making everything close enough so that when you hover over it, you think it would be good. But we can do that in an optimization pass. Also trying to make all the centers line up. Right now, sometimes the centers, like the gun, when you rotate through that pose, it's
also
the
before I start doing this, actually, I should answer this. The negative space doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter that like 3/4 of the canvas is just blank. It doesn't matter if I get rid of that.
No, you're good. You're encouraged to, because that's what doing this. That's part of outlining this stuff. Tells Unity what not to worry about.
I meant more so for your build, or like what the build on from an editor's perspective. Isn't it still having to load a much higher resolution image for like 3/4 of no reason? Not that it matters, I guess.
Is the thing centered in the image, and it's just a wide image or whatever?
It's a
or
wide
tall?
image.
Is that what?
It's a wide
Yeah.
image with a lot of.
You're fine. There might be issues with that long term. The biggest deal is that it's a multiple of 4 actually, because when it's a multiple of 4, it can be compressed super small, which is interesting in terms of its resolution. And I think what the size we've been doing is like, what has Dave been doing? 1080 or something like that?
Where's my canvas size again?
Oh, all my things are like 256 by 512 by 512. I think I'm doing them in.
Smaller is fine too if it looks fine that way. Yeah, yours, Jeff, are 512 by 512.
Oh, is that it?
And Dave's.
Yeah, 1080 is what my
1080,
canvas
yeah.
size.
Yeah. As long as they are 512 by 512 is fine as long as it works for the sticker. Dave could go down to 512 by 512 too if it would work for his stuff. So that'd be fine. And it would be preferable if it works. It still looks nice. Anyway, Jeff, what we were talking about before you got here was I was talking about my progress. So I have the submit button working. It's not in the build yet, but it works, and I just have to do some final tweaks to the timer so that the timer works, and it does sync after 5 seconds. It'll sync and catch up. But I need to make it. We're thinking about maybe just syncing it every second and saying who cares of the networking cost for now, because it's so minor that it probably doesn't actually matter that much.
No.
And then so I'll work on that and finish that up. What other things did he say I was gonna do? We didn't actually talk about the rest, but let me open my notepad here. It was a cursor for the ward bubbles. I do need to do that. Update the icons. That was something that you were gonna work on when you had some time.
Oh yeah. Right.
More text stickers for setups. Something we can all work on there. Fix the flopper is also what I need to do. It's hard to use. Hard to swap out. Anyway, yeah, anything like that, or that's the plan in general. Then we talked about a little bit about the audio, how to handle that, and it seems like the general consensus is just going to be to buy pre-made audio assets. And Chris,
Okay.
I had asked who would want to run that, basically be in charge of trying to do that, and Chris said he would.
If Jeff wanted to, that's fine by me. I do have a bunch of audio libraries that I've gotten as part of itch.io bundles, and I could just share my stuff with you so you could use them if you wanted to do it. But
I mean, if you got them, then
I got them.
It doesn't matter to me. I just figure it's going to be something, like if this thing ever does take off, someone should be responsible for that job. The guy that does the audio, someone should take that role on. And I figured we'd want to do at least some of it in-house, as much of it in-house as we could. And since I did open the suggestion of hiring someone to do it, and Dave and Chris both seem to agree that they'd prefer to just we don't need that for the level of project we have. All right. Yeah, that's the plan. So I will finish this the work on this stuff. The timer should only take me like another 30 minutes to fix. that I'll start on some of those convenience methods for the flop mode. I mean, it did sound like Bridget maybe just didn't even like the mechanism of the flop mode at all, and we could talk about better alternatives to
She
that.
wanted to be able to pick whatever she wanted, basically, which...
Yeah, she did, but I don't think that's the answer either, honestly.
I don't think it is. I think that's that's throwing too much at someone.
If anything, I almost think, well, maybe we just take you just get the flop, you get the stickers you get, and that's it. And I don't think the stickers that everybody gets to start, because that was interesting or that was like a way to add some interesting stuff to it when everyone started with the same stickers, that then they could swap them out, so they all have some things that are similar, but in general it's usually different. That was what I was going for there. But now that we're not doing that, like, maybe we just don't let them replace them at all, and we just give them the flop, and that's it.
I do like having like the 30 seconds to think about my comic before I actually start making it, though. When I'm going
Yeah.
to the stickers.
They also did suggest, what if you could select from different setups if we were going to do a thing where you don't have any agency in picking your extra stickers.
I suggested that. Don't you dare give that credit to the playtesters, Chris. How could you?
I would be down to go that route, and then their selection is like, then they see what they have at the bottom and they're selecting their setup to match the stickers rather than the other way around. And maybe that's less
I think that is
paralyzing
interesting.
choice.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
That's a great idea. So we give them
You just said
4
that was
setups.
your idea. It's like
No, the idea that or your rationale for it.
The
But yeah,
stickers
you're
are
right.
locked, and you get-
Your rationale for it is
Chris,
a good
that
one.
was such a good
It's
idea.
like, yeah, brilliant.
He's a genius.
Also, the center of these has to be in the center of as centered as it can be in the vertical and horizontal.
Center of mass, so it just feels right when you swap between them, because that center of mass is going to be swapped between. That center, I always align the center of mass to the center of the sticker.
Okay.
Or maybe center of mass is a bad way. I align that little blue fucking dot to the center of the sticker, so whatever won't look weird when you're swapping through. In that sense.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's a good idea, though. I will. I like the rationale for that. I will. I'll go that route because it does make sense. Just give them what they have. No complexity. You can't swap out. You just get what you get, and then you pick from. We'll start 4 or 3 setups. How many?
I like 4. I kind of like 4 for setups, but because you might find. But like if we're doing this also,
setups,
we actually don't need to
people.
redo the. I actually don't think we need to swap out the pop sticklers. The pop sticklers still. Well, actually no. I guess you still might want to see the alternate poses for your extra stickers.
Maybe you click on the pop stickler and it flips to the pose, or do you just think people want to be able to see them all at once? Because I feel like you don't need to. We don't need to make it too crazy where you can see every single pose, right? You just need to get a sense of what's available.
Yeah, that's what I'm
just
thinking.
Still
maybe
have them like flip every couple seconds.
That's what I'm considering. Is like maybe the pop sticklers are fine in that case. If we're not allowing them to switch to switch through them, they don't need as much to see the all the different poses.
Yeah, I like this. And what about they'll flip on their own, but also you can click them to flip them immediately, just to give you some interaction with them, and then and it just flips. It just triggers that flip animation right away. Is that good idea? Bad idea?
That sounds fine. That sounds good.
Just gives user feedback. They look like they're clickable, so. All right. Yeah, I think that'll work. That's a good change. And then we should try to find another group to playtest with. get something on the schedule just so that we have a
My work
target.
friends
It's
did
always
say
good.
they would be willing to do it.
Sure.
When they were all drinking, so we'll see if they actually want to. But
Yeah, if you you know, there were some people at Old Alliance Farm I bet would be interested in that. One of the QA, I always forget her name.
Michaela, I think
She,
is who you're
yeah,
talking about.
Michaela Dedinger. She was she like was making a
She went to PAX
tabletop
or
game or
something.
something.
I remember.
Yeah, with her friend. So I bet we could see if she wants to try it out.
I'd be
Who
down.
else? We would need more people than that, but maybe whoever the friend is that makes the game would be interested too. But yeah, we should try to keep those on the schedule. If you can, Chris, reach out to your friends, see if they are legitimately interested or not. And I can see about reaching out to maybe some people from Old Alliance times.
Right on.
Do you have any more things to show, Dave?
No, I have the what is it? The long requested empty open door
Ah, yes, that
somewhere.
is good.
Yeah. But I don't think I have anything that people haven't already seen other than those things.
Okay. The other thing I was gonna say before we call it is so 6 people, 4 prompts, 4 setup options each, right? That is 24, right? So then we are basically, I think we have 48 setups right now, or we did at the last time I checked. Maybe there are more because I got the setup manager working again. So we need way more, right? Because you'll see basically one round will cover half the possible setups.
Yeah, that's still kind of fine. We do need more, but that is still fine for now because like they're not all gonna see,
Yeah, they won't all see each one, but
each one
like
at the same
ideally,
time.
I imagine you take ones that have been used out of rotation, and then every round you're removing 6, right?
Do we take them out of
So
rotation? Because
by
I thought the whole impetus at the beginning was like everyone should do the same one because iteration is good, and I think the
no,
randomness
you
of
don't. I think you are. I don't right now, but I was assuming we would want to. Is that not something we would want to do?
I I I think it's fine to leave maybe after 2 uses or something take it out if you could do that easily, but like I don't think it's super critical to make sure that the same setup doesn't appear because it is funny to see someone else's take on a thing, but like
I think just
It
as
can
long
be.
as somebody doesn't get the same one twice in a row.
yeah, for the same person, yes, you should never get one that you've picked at least twice in a row.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I can make those rules aren't that hard to make because basically they just get assigned by the server. So I just have to have the server track who picks what, and then just put that in a list. And anytime I give them a new one, just check against that list to before I assign it. Yeah, that should be easy to do. All right. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, Jeff, if you want to come up with any kind of UI or layout for that while you're doing the any icon updates, then feel free and just throw it in the Figma file and I'll implement it.
Okay.
Cool. Anything else you want to cover?
No.
All right. we'll leave it at that. I'll let you know if I can get people together for a playtest.
Right on.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys later then.
Catch you later.
I assume everyone has work tomorrow, but I would play more Mistfall.
I do want to play more, but I can't tonight.
How long is the playtest for?
Didn't say. Apparently the last one was like 2.5 weeks or something.
Okay.